Okay.
So we talked about in episode 3.
I think it was 3. It might have been 2.
I
I'm
don't
not sure.
remember. We
All get
talked
mixed
about the
up.
James Webb Telescope and how it's like this great thing that,
Yeah.
they launched. I had to look it up. They launched it December 25th at 7:20 Eastern time. So,
Mhm.
in the morning. But come 9 months later, we already have
Yeah.
another one
Yeah.
that has 4 times better resolution. This thing's crazy. So it has 4 times better resolution than the James Webb Telescope, and it has 10 times better resolution than the Hubble Telescope. So this is from Petapixel.
Petapixel?
Peta, whatever.
Yeah.
So this is what it is. It looks like it's going to be a stationary one. So you know how the James Webb
Oh,
one's
it's gonna
floating?
be on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one apparently is going to be stationed. I don't know where, but apparently it costs $205 million.
Do you think they'll tell us where?
I don't know.
Not in here, but do you think they'll ever tell us?
I mean, we know where
Oh
the
yeah,
Hubble
look at
one
it.
is.
It'll be housed at the La Campanas Observatory in Chile's desert.
Hmm?
Dude, it said it was gonna cost $1 billion.
Yep.
That's
They got
crazy.
a $205 million investment. So this is the James Webb Telescope resolution, and this is what this new one looks like.
It's crazy. Look at like the lines on the stars.
Well,
I didn't even
this
know that was a
almost looks
thing.
like a thermal image.
Yeah, it's like all like how blurry it is compared to the other one.
I know, and this one is like clear. I mean,
Yeah.
as clear as can be for a star.
For right now.
Yeah. I mean, but this is only 8 months ago.
Yeah.
We were having this.
It's crazy how fast technology is advancing.
Yeah, it says it was engineered right here. So this is, what do you call it? A single segment. So that's going to be crazy.
25.4 meter.
Well, I mean, this
It weighs 18 metric tons.
I wonder if the reason that they had to make, or they didn't have to, but they made this new one is because of the damage that was endured by the
Caused by the other one.
Well, the James Webb one is designed to take on, different rocks floating around in space, but apparently it got hit with a decently sized asteroid that was uncorrectable damage to one of its gold plates.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if
Those gold plates are for power, right?
I think reflection.
Oh, okay.
I think they help reflect the image. I'm pretty sure this is the inside of it, though.
Because all images are light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're seeing light.
I think it's all reflection. So, I mean, pretty interesting. I don't know what will come from it. But, I mean, if you look at this, I mean, that's a pretty substantial
difference
right there. Yeah. I mean, if it was almost the same thing, I don't know why they would do it. But the only thing that I wonder, though, is because the James Webb Telescope's floating out in space, right? And it's constantly going farther and farther away from us. Will this, because it's stationary, not be able to see as far? Like, we might be able to get better resolution, but will it not be able to go the distance and reach? I mean, I'm pretty sure I just read something saying that the James Webb Telescope, what do you call it? James Webb Telescope just found the most distant star. Let me see. James Webb Telescope.
I wonder if, like, you know how they say, like, if you look back, like, however far away, you can see, like, into the past. I wonder if we can get that thing so far back we could see, like, ancient times.
Well, that's the theory behind being able to look into the past. So if you wanted to know how time looked like, because what happens is we are a beam of light shooting off of Earth, our time, right? Yeah. Every second there's a beam of light. And they're saying that if you could go, let's say...
Like, if you wanted to see at 0, you'd have to go to 2022 light years away.
Well, no, because remember, 2022 is the time that Jesus...
0.
Well,
0
that would be
BC.
Jesus' time, but there's stuff before that. You would be able to see BC if you went farther. But that means you would have to travel at the speed faster than the speed of light to get past a certain point, and then have a telescope to be able to look back.
Oh yeah, that was what they were talking about in Into the Cosmos.
that if you were to be able to go see it, you would have to be able to go far enough, fast enough, which our bodies can't endure that amount of speed. So
it'd have to be like just a machine.
the problem is that the problem that you come into is if you were to go out that far, then you have to also send that back. Or if you were to send a human out there and they saw it, they would have to somehow recollect that back. And you're talking billions of years away. And also another problem is because we can't go out that far, that means more and more time is spanning between now and then.
Yeah.
So that it's gonna
farther away.
It's gonna keep going farther and farther away. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think we'll be at that point for a very long time, if ever.
Yeah.
But, so this right here says the James Webb Space Telescope has caught a glimpse of the most distant star known in the universe, which had been announced by scientists using the Webb's predecessor, the Hubble telescope. So, apparently this is the image of it. Oh, this is on space.com. Let's see if we can zoom that up a little bit. So I'm assuming...
Oh, are those all galaxies?
I don't know. This says inside of our galaxy, but there might be more galaxies inside of our galaxy. Oh, it says the most distant star in the universe.
Oh.
So these are all galaxies.
But how's it the most distant if, like, the universe goes on forever?
So what's the pecking order? It goes planets, solar system, universe, or
No,
galaxies,
galaxy.
then universe?
Yeah. I think so.
So I don't know how this was. Imagine if this picture was taken, though, with the previous, with the new one.
Yeah.
Imagine how good of a resolution we might be able to see. Look at all this. You're telling me not a single one of these galaxies have life?
Yeah.
I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. I mean, just count how many you see, all these dots you see here.
Oh, yeah, there's like millions of galaxies.
Do you believe... Okay, so this is a question I have for you then. Do you believe space is ever growing, is already maxed, has a wall?
No, I don't think it can end.
But do you think it's growing?
I think if we were to travel to the end, it would just be farther. I don't think there is an end.
So you think it's just infinite?
Yeah. Like a Minecraft world.
But a Minecraft world, still, you hit the wall.
Not on an infinite. Just keeps generating more.
I know. That's how you think the universe is? You think that we're just a ball floating in infiniteness?
Infiniteness.
Really?
You'll never see the end of it.
Well, I'm not saying you will see the end.
No, I don't think
it
ends.
But, like, then that also brings the question, what would space be shaped in?
It's hard to believe, but I just think there's no end.
What if our galaxy, right? This is what I just thought of. What if our, like, space, right? The thing that we think of as space is just a grain of sand on another beach in another dimension.
Like Horton Hears a Who?
Yeah, like that.
It's on a flower.
Yeah. What if our infiniteness is just literally a grain of sand on some other, or a grain of something on some other dimension? And then that is a grain of sand in that dimension. That's a grain of, like, you know what I mean? And what if it's infinite that way?
We don't know, do we?
No. What if our world is like ants, right? Ants have their colonies and their little spots, but, like, there's... Actually, another theory I heard was about the idea that at the end of our lives, people say that they see the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
That the end of the tunnel is them waking up in a baby's body.
Mm-hmm.
They just go into another baby's body in another dimension or world or another time, and it's so traumatic that we forget what our past life was like, and because of that, we still can have the memory is still there. It's just distant, and that's why we get deja vu.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of theories like that.
Wouldn't that be
what
crazy?
What happens at the end? Because no one knows what happens when we die.
Well, of course not. But, like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
If it's just infiniteness that way?
It'd be so cool.
Well, we would never know.
No.
Right?
You just wouldn't know.
Hmm.
It's crazy to think about. You would just never know.
That sounds difficult.
Yeah, that's a mind bender.
That right there is like something that would blow my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, you were telling me though about the treasure found.
Yeah, there was a shipwreck.
Some OBX stuff right here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw it. Like, it was in the Bahamas, and they found a shipwreck from the 1600s. From I think it was from Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and it contained like all these different, like it had like 500 gold coins and like 700 silver coins and like 45 gems, like pendants, like
Really?
made into necklaces and stuff. And it's just crazy to think about that stuff's there.
They found it in the Bahamas, you said?
Yeah.
Do you know like where or no?
No, I'm not sure where.
Man.
I didn't really look into it that much, but it's crazy to think about. You could just find a ship that has
Isn't there a
millions
law
of
for
dollars.
that? Like if you find a shipwreck and you go to an attorney, you can just claim it.
Yeah.
Like
If
isn't that how
it's
that
in
works?
international waters, no one
No one can
own it.
So why don't people invest more money into like searching the seas for that then?
I mean, just think about it, because like you don't know that stuff's there.
Yeah.
Like, like The Curse of Oak Island, that TV show,
Mm-mm.
where they're on this island and they're like, oh, there's like the Knights Templar were here and they buried treasure, and we have to find it. All these things are pointing to here. We're finding these wooden like structures underneath the ground. There's got to be some treasure here, and they've been digging for like 30 years and haven't found a single piece of the treasure. So like, you really think that we're going to be able to go in the water and be able to, oh yeah, here's a ship, here's another one?
Well, I mean,
I think the risk versus reward is just not there.
if you look at the the movie like Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a bunch of ships. I mean, the amount of ships coming from here to England to Spain to Europe to Africa, I mean, and pirates at the time. I mean, there's probably tons and tons of ships, even from before or after that, when ships were being used for shipping and stuff like that. Cargo ships go down all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't think that there would be tons of ships under there? Or even, like, a small bit of remaining wreckage?
I mean, like I said, if it's that easy to find, we would have found it.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, the question is how many
imagine
people
if
are
one
looking.
goes down in the Mariana Trench, you're not going to find it.
Well, they actually just hit the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
The deepest part, which is crazy.
But you think they're going to be able to recover that?
Probably not.
No.
Well, the thing is maybe not recover it, but, like, you say, like, oh, well, don't you think we would have found more? But, like, what if nobody's really looking?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure people are,
if,
but,
if
like...
if there was money to be made,
Yeah.
someone would be making it,
Yeah,
you know?
good point. There always is something... If there's money to be made, somebody's always doing something with it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's crazy. They just found, Noah's Ark? Well,
they think they did.
supposedly.
It's like a mountain that looks like it.
In the exact same spot that the Bible described it.
Mm-hmm. It's like the same specifications and all that.
The same mountain. It was at the base of, I don't know what mountain it was called.
It was in Turkey, right?
Mm-hmm. And then if you do like a drone footage of what the area looks like, because I think they were drilling into the mountain and they hit wood.
Yeah.
And so like one of the things that they were trying to figure out is why is there wood in this mountain? And so then when they took like a drone shot or a plane shot of it, it's literally an outline of a boat. And so they're in the process right now of trying to
recover,
like just move away some of the rock to see if they can get inside or whatever. See how much of it's still preserved. Because if it is there, that would be crazy. I mean, that's one of the oldest stories in the Bible next to the creation.
And it's like one of the things that is like most controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, oh, no one could build a ship that big at that time.
Yeah. Or
like,
why
no way.
would they? Even though like every single civilization up until that point talks about the Great Flood in their own depiction of it. I mean, the Egyptians talked about it, or as the people who like to comment on my TikTok, old Arabic, because
The
apparently
writing.
it's not
No,
Egyptian.
they didn't write in Egyptian. They
Yeah.
wrote it in Arabic. That's
The
what I think
hieroglyphs
they were mad about.
talk about a great flood that flooded the earth. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that was pretty
But yeah,
funny.
that's like another thing. Like, we didn't think that the pyramids could be built. Someone built them.
We still don't know how those pyramids are built.
Yeah. So what's wrong with the ship being built? I don't know.
I mean, I guess the question that people debate is maybe not like, was the ship built, but even how realistic is the Old Testament, right? Because
Yeah.
if it comes right after the creation, if you don't believe in the creation, you're not going to believe the story right after that,
No.
right? Like if you read a math book and you see the first math problem's wrong, you're not going to believe the second problem's right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, people that like to pick apart the Bible and say, oh, I believe this, but I don't believe that. Like, I mean, how can you believe this if you don't believe that, if it's written right next to each other?
Yeah.
So, in the same text over how many years? I mean, and that doesn't go for just the Bible. I mean, that goes for anything. If you don't believe in one thing in the Quran, why would you believe the next?
Mhm.
I mean, I understand that there's different types of Christianity that believe in, only the New Testament versus none of the Old, or they believe that the Bible is completely word for word. I mean, there's different depictions, I guess, of what you necessarily believe, but me personally, I wouldn't look at a math problem and be like, that one's wrong, but no, the next one must be right.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That
can
doesn't
believe it.
make sense.
Yeah.
So, talking about the Christian church, though, one of the things I want to talk to you today about is Constantine's role in the Catholic Church, and I don't know if you know very much about it.
Oh yeah, I went to Rome and they talked all about it.
Yeah, so Constantine was ruler, at the time, and so there's a theory that goes on with him that talks about his role as a Christian. So one of the things that Constantine talked about is how he was visited by Jesus and converted, right? The theory behind it is, and that's why he had such an influential role in the Christianity becoming the universal religion, right? Catholics.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that they talk about is that he was running for some form of office at the time, whatever the highest position was.
Yeah, senator or something.
Yeah, I don't know. And the person that he was running against was a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And he was losing votes because he was an atheist. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if they called it atheist at the time. A pagan, I think.
That would be a religion that's like not Catholicism. It'd be like,
I think he was a pagan.
he'd believe in like false gods, I believe paganism is.
Was Constantine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a pagan. Although he lived much of his life as a pagan, later a Catechumen, he began to favor Christianity in 13. Yeah, so he was a pagan.
Mm.
So, well, before I get anything messed up, I want to know what a pagan is, because I don't know if he didn't believe in God or what that means.
I'm almost positive it believes in like
A person holding religious beliefs other than those of the main world's religion.
Oh. So just, because it's like false gods. Like if he believed in like
an
Greek gods.
unconverted member of people or nation who does not practice Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it says right here, pagans believe that nature is sacred and the natural circles of birth, growth, death, and observation of the world is profoundly spiritual meanings. Humans being seen as such nature along. Okay. So anyways, he was a pagan. He didn't believe in Christianity. The theory is that he was losing in his roles as becoming some form of higher up, and he converted to Christianity because of that.
Yeah.
They also theorized that he believed in satanic things. Like even though he was a pagan, and by this definition says that he didn't believe in the main religion, somehow he was still. The theory goes along with saying that he believed that in satanic things. And so one of the things that I wanted to show you, actually, and by the way, if you're wondering why I keep looking at my screen, it's because Jonathan is busy today, so we do not have our normal guy.
Makes it a lot more difficult than with him.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like typing while on the stream or on the podcast, but nothing I can do. I have to do it because I need to be able to show stuff. So let's see here. So one of the things is I believe, was he the one who built the Vatican? Who built the Vatican?
I don't know.
I hate to keep stopping. I really do not want to do this because I'm not the best. Alrighty. Let's see here. Well, it doesn't say. That's interesting.
They don't know.
Apparently not. Well, anyways, he had some form of role with the Vatican. Constantine did. And so one of the things that you'll notice inside the Vatican that you might not personally know is that there's a lot of satanic things inside the Vatican. And so the theory is the reason those are there is because Constantine had such a huge influential role with Catholicism and Christianity as a whole. He wanted to push those views by changing the ideas of Christians by saying he was a Christian.
Yeah.
So one of the things that he did is there's a lot of satanic things, like I said, inside the Vatican. This is the depiction of Jesus coming out or resurrecting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at that to me does not look like a happy memorial of Jesus resurrecting from the dead.
Is this old?
That piece?
Yeah.
Yes, that piece was built a long time ago, I'm pretty sure. So, this is just one of the things in the...
I mean, it looks cool, but...
I mean, it's cool, but tell me that doesn't look some form of satanic. That does not look to me like something happy. This is just an artist's depiction of what he thinks it would be.
Looks like something out of Stranger Things.
It looks like he's crawling in hell. That's what it looks like.
Look at his head.
Well, look at all these dead souls. Those are all dead souls.
Yeah. Why are they there when he's resurrecting?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's one of the things. The other thing is called the Snake Chapel. Well,
this is also in the Vatican?
This is also inside the Vatican. It's not actually called the Snake. It's one of the chapels in the Vatican. So this is what it looks like. Let me blow that up for you.
Oh, this is where we were.
So this is the same spot, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at this, you see a beautiful room.
Mm-hmm.
2 eyes, fangs, creating a snake with, in another picture, depending on if there's a side picture, the tongue of the snake coming down the aisle, slithering out of its mouth.
Wow. But, I mean, this is pretty new.
Yeah.
Like, this was built not that long ago.
Well, I'm sure, but it's still, I'm saying that this is just one of the examples of satanic things inside the Vatican.
At least we think it is. Could have just been not purposely done. And we're just making stuff up.
I mean, that's the point of the theory, right?
Yeah.
Is that it might not be purposefully done. But at the same time, this also could just be the way the picture was taken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that I'm assuming is like a half moon room,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like a dome almost on top with flat walls. So I'm assuming that was just, I mean, that looks pretty much like a snake though, if you look at it.
Yeah.
Right? 2 eyes, whatever. So that is another thing that is inside the Vatican. So and there's multiple other things that they pull up to show. And for the record, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just showing you vacation.
We're vacationing now.
Yep. I meant to spell Vatican.
Because someone can't spell.
So. Anyways, that was the other thing. And, I mean, I find it very weird. You've been to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in St. Peter's Basilica, the first word that came out of my mouth was wow. Like,
Yeah.
it is crazy. I mean, and for people, you can show as many pictures as you want, but for people who've never been there, you, like, can't describe how big it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I went in there, everything in Italy was just so fascinating. I mean, from the architecture to, like, when we have something special here, we, like, block people off, right? We, like, put him and, like, make it, like, barriered.
Yeah, like you can go.
But in Europe, everything is practically historical, and they just let you walk around it and watch
Yeah,
and
like
touch
go ahead
it.
and touch it.
Yeah, and that is, there's got to be something special about that too. I mean, to be able to just, when I was in Barcelona, oh my God, it was gorgeous. Everything in Europe I did was pretty cool. Did you go on a cruise? I went on a cruise.
No.
Yeah, so the cruise for me started out. We flew into Barcelona and stayed there an extra, like, a first day. We got there a day early because we went to Camp Nou,
Mm-hmm.
to go see the Barcelona stadium, which was
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
Did you see a game?
No, we just got a tour.
Yeah.
So you look at sports locker rooms here.
Yeah. It's different there.
Go see a professional soccer sports locker room. That was
yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean, it's the most popular game in the world.
And the store they had in there, I'm pretty sure it was like a Nike Barcelona store. It was sweet.
Yeah.
So we went and saw that. That was really fun. And then we went and got on the boat. We actually stayed at Hotel Americano, which
Mm-hmm.
was really weird, but I guess it's a traveler's hotel. They spoke English there. We got on the boat and we went to Port Avenir was our first stop, which is in France. It's
Yeah.
an island in France. I got to swim in the Mediterranean Ocean. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Then we went down to Sorrento and Pompeii, all the way to Rome, then to Capri, and then I think we went to one more stop, but I can't remember what it was. And then we came back up, spent a day at sea, and that was phenomenal. So it was a very cool trip. Definitely want to go. I want to go see the Amalfi Coast though. I've never been on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go in Italy?
We were in we went to Rome, and we went to we were in Spain for a couple days in begins with an M, but we also went to Paris, and we kind of went a few different countries.
How long did you go?
This was like a week and a half.
Oh, so you were there for a good amount of time then.
Oh yeah, we were in Spain for like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, that's pretty
just
cool.
in there.
Did you go to Barcelona or no?
No, that was a
That
place
was
I want to
cool.
go to.
That it was really cool. And the one thing that Europeans pride themselves on, and I noticed it when I was over there, is, well, one, their food's amazing, but they were sweeping sidewalks.
Mhm.
They were so clean. Like, everything when I was there, especially in Barcelona, when I was in the city, I mean, I didn't see a trash bag anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all swept. I mean, there were ladies outside sweeping the ground out in front of their business and homes, and the food was just exceptional. I mean,
Yeah.
everything.
All the food there was just.
It was it was authentic. I mean, it wasn't filled with a bunch of shit that we have here. It was so good. And that's the one thing I would love to go back to do, is just go eat.
American food is like so boring if we just like look at it from that stance.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely made it a presentation over there. Like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't I want pizza and that's it. Like, it was like they got the bread, they got the they came out with wine. They had this 7-course setup, man,
Yeah.
and it was phenomenal. You could not stop eating there.
Yeah, I mean, like when we were in Paris, we were by the Arc de Triomphe, and it was like really late at night. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock, and this place was about to close down, and we're like, we need food, right? We haven't eaten all day. And so we go up to this small restaurant. I can't remember what it was called, but they're like closing their doors, right? They're packing up. We're like, hey, are you guys about to close, or do you have a couple minutes? They're like, oh yeah, come in. We're like, okay. So we sit down, and no one else is here, right? They like brought all the tables inside except for one, because we came and we were going to eat there. And
So you're one of those assholes
they were-
shows up a minute before it closed.
They were so excited that we were there.
Oh, well, that's good.
And they're like, oh, what do you want? And we're like, oh, well, it's all in French. Like we don't know much French. What does all this mean? He's like, oh, I'd recommend this and this and this. And we're like, okay, well, we'll take one of each.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay, well, we already got rid of all our food for the day, but I'll go back there and make all this food fresh from tomorrow's stuff.
Oh, wow.
So he's back there for like an hour and a half remaking this food just for us.
I know.
And it's all fresh. It was like, there was like meat, like lambs and like just
phenomenal hospitality over there.
Great.
I would love, and I was talking to Caitlin about this, and I kind of told you about it. I would love to go just spend a couple weeks, go like and stay in Italy, or like rent an Airbnb, you know, and just stay over there for a week or two, and then come back and just study, like, because I'm online, so I can just study wherever I want.
Yeah.
But that would be so cool. I mean, just to go there and experience that and get to see how their culture is.
Yeah.
The first thing I need to do is I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to do it. And then I need to practice language, some basic language, you know.
You can communicate.
I mean, basically, I'm not going to like go and start being able to say sentences.
Like
and
just
speak
say like,
fluent.
hey, can I have some water? Or
Yeah.
Where's the bathroom?
Food, where's the bathroom? Grocery store. Basic words that I can get around. I mean, because for the most part, I mean, when I was over there was very few people that did not speak English. Now they weren't like amazing at it, but they knew how to speak some English. I mean, it wasn't like that's what I would like, the amount of English that they know. I would like to be able to do that in Italian, kind of just like a small conversation. Like
it's like they just like hear like certain words that they know, and they're like, you're like, hey, where's the supermarket at? And they're like, oh, supermercado. Go down.
Exactly.
And so like, I don't think they understand everything we're
not.
saying, but I think they hear one word and they're like, oh, I know that word.
And that's what I mean. Basic. I mean, like if I said, where's the bathroom or the restroom, like I'm sure they would understand the bathroom part and point me in the right direction, you know? And so that was kind of what I want to do in the reciprocate. I want to be an Italian, be able to give
when they're
some,
just like, hey, where are you from? And you can just answer them.
United States, United States.
in a sentence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if there's any suggestions from anybody listening of what a good website would be to use, I mean, I know there's Babbel.
I used Duolingo for a while.
Duolingo?
Yeah, it's an app on your phone.
Okay.
And you can just do it like...
Will you do one with me?
They have like short games. Yeah, I'll do one.
Maybe we should learn one, and then we can do like a short 2-minute segment practicing it.
2 minutes, that's high hopes.
Well,
I think I could say like one sentence,
and
then you say a sentence back.
Yeah, I mean, we can just go real short, like just kind of practice with each other and see. And then maybe in the next few podcasts we can tell them how far we got.
Well, the best thing is actually going to the place and practicing. That's the best.
Well, by the time you go there, it's already too late.
Yeah.
Right? If you're learning it over there and then you come back, I mean, then what's the point? We're not going to use it here as much as we'd use it over there. You got to learn a little bit.
Unless we just start talking to each other
all
the time.
I think we should do that because you know how cool it would be to be able to communicate without talking to anybody, like not letting anybody know what we're
looking
saying.
at you like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how to roll your R's?
No, I can't do that.
Yeah,
no.
I'm so bad. My brother can do it so good, and I'm over here like,
yeah,
real shitty.
I remember them trying to teach us that in Spanish class.
Oh my God,
they're
Sister
like, no,
Barbara got so mad.
Just do it, do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I don't even like, like how do you?
No,
is it like a tongue movement? Like
it's like clicking your tongue back and forth. I think. Yeah, no, you're not gonna.
I'm not gonna get it.
I think it's something you have to like have. I don't think you can just. I don't know.
Maybe you can learn it.
Maybe.
I mean, if we were to learn Italian, we might be able to get like some of the accent down, because some of the words have to be said like kind of in an accent, you know.
Well, the accents are for different like places. Like a Sicilian doesn't talk like someone from the mainland. They have like a different accent.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of like how you talk about like someone from New York and then like New York City and then like the Bronx, and like they all have their different like accents or like different ways of saying things too, like different words for different stuff.
What's always been weird to me, but I mean, because I have some Italian in me, I talk to Italian friends who have told me the difference, but being an American, I guess, I don't understand as much of the difference when people are like, oh, what nationality are you? And they go, I'm Italian or I'm Sicilian.
Yeah.
Well, like, aren't you Italian? But like,
Well,
Sicilians
they take
must
that
be proud.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, they must be proud enough to be able to be like, I'm Sicilian. I'm different. I am different. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that, because like when people say, what nationality are you? See, that's so weird to me. Even in America, where we say, oh, I'm Italian or German, right? But like, our nationality is American. We're American.
Well,
right?
if someone, because someone from America asks you what nationality you are, you go before America. So if you were, but then if you're in Spain and someone says, what nationality are you? And you say, oh, I'm from America. I'm American. I'm an American.
I mean, I guess, because when I was over in Italy, there was, when I went swimming in it wasn't Italy, it was Porto Venere. When I went swimming in the Mediterranean, there was a bunch of people out on the rocks, like, sunbaking or whatever. They were just enjoying. And so they were a bunch of people diving in, and that's how I got the confidence to dive in, because I didn't trust to see how deep it was. Even though you could see the bottom, these people were diving in. So I'm like, I'm not going to look like a dummy. I'm going to jump in like they would. And when I came up to the ladder, because they had this ladder like drilled into the side of this one boulder, there was a chick standing on top, right? And I looked up, and I'm like, how do I say excuse me? Like, I'm like trying to get her to get the hell out of the way. She looked like Megan Fox, right? So I was like, oh, I was single at the time, so excuse me. And she goes, do you speak French, right? Like, very broken English. Do you speak French? And I said, no, I'm American.
We.
And I go, no, I'm an American. And she goes, no French, right? No French. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And she goes, okay, and turned around and walked away. And I'm like, if I would have just known French, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I would have just known a few words, I could have talked to her. But I mean, it wouldn't have worked out anyway. She was French. I'm not gonna be in France.
That's a lot of plane rides, expensive plane rides.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have been worth it. It was just the fact that, like, she tried to come up and talk to me. Like, even if we were just friends, or like I had a friend from France, like, I couldn't even, like, it made me feel like a dummy, right? Like, I couldn't even communicate with her. I expect everyone to know English. I don't expect for me to know French. So, it's the mentality's different. Right, like everywhere in the world, not everywhere, but almost everywhere in the world, they teach English and their language. Yeah. In America, we half-ass teach Spanish.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's very bad.
I mean,
I've never met a place that people just say, "Oh yeah, I know Spanish because I took it in high school."
Jacob has learned more Spanish working in construction than we have in. When we start learning Spanish, first grade to like 8th grade, I feel like we recited the colors every year.
Yeah. It's like we got the colors down.
Right? And the colors in like 1 to 20.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we never really learned. Did you learn anything? Like, tell me how to say bathroom.
Baño.
Yeah, I did know that. That's why I was going to ask you, because I was going to say at least I know that. Okay. Milk.
Leche.
Leche. Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, you're going to come up with all the ones I know because we
Shower.
took the same classes. Oh, shower?
I don't know that one.
No.
I was just going to see if you know it.
I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, I mean, you just, okay, say, I need to go to the bathroom. That's my point. Like, we don't know how to say that, but like, what's 8?
8. Once, right?
Ocho.
You
don't even know 8. Nueve?
10. That's 9.
Yeah. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
16, 18.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
So anyways, we knew how to count like 1 to 20.
Yeah.
I think we got, Trente was 30, so I think we got up to 30. But like, that's what I'm talking about. That's barely any Spanish compared to, like, at least people if overseas can relate a sentence.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Talking about over in Europe, though, one of the other people I want to talk to you about today was Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Which I recently found out he was also a pharaoh.
Oh, really?
Did not know that. You hear about Alexander the Great and his empire. He was from Macedonia. And so he was one of the greatest rulers of all time. And when he became a pharaoh, he was also known as one of the best pharaohs of all time. And what was pretty cool about him that I didn't know is, so they buried pharaohs before him in, I believe it's called the Valley of the Kings, where they had all the tombs lined up, which they're still searching today, going through all of them.
They're finding stuff all the time.
And Alexander the Great, I believe, started the new trend of, he said that he did not want to be buried in the Valley of the Tombs. He wanted to be buried in Alexandria, Egypt, which is the city that he started, which later or during his time, I believe, became the capital of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was buried there, and I believe, I don't know for how long, but the pharaohs after him all wanted to be buried close to him because they thought that he was a god. And so the closer that they were buried to a god, they thought the better their afterlife would be, because that's, I guess, how their system worked. And so one of the things that I was watching a documentary on Disney Plus is about Alexander the Great is that they still have not found his tomb or any of the pharaohs surrounding him, right? Because they believe that it's his tomb, then like just rows and rows of pharaohs that came after him, and everybody's trying, like the people, and at least in the show, were trying to find it because they still have not been able to find it.
Like if he's the greatest pharaoh, he's got to have quite a bit of wealth.
Oh, well, he wasn't only just a pharaoh, though. I mean, his empire was throughout Europe. I mean, he took over, I think, all the way from Turkey to Egypt up to the top of the Mediterranean.
So he had some money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being, like, an archaeologist and finding that? Who keeps that? I know it will go to, like, a museum.
A lot of the times, yeah, it goes
but,
to
like,
museum.
do they pay them for their finds?
A lot of the time it's just donated.
Interesting.
But, I mean, they can keep it, I think. It's just, are they good people and want to share it with everybody, or are they going to be greedy?
See, I don't think they can keep it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not international.
Yeah, it's not. It's in the country.
Like, it was in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
So, like, then does it become Egyptian?
Yeah, it must be.
And then the Egyptians donate it?
Yeah. They just put it in one of their museums.
So I'm assuming then archaeologists are paid in some form of a salary then, or some form of funding.
They're probably funded by the government or something.
Or an organization.
Or someone.
The problem is if they're let's say sent by someone, I wonder how much they get paid. I wonder what the average. Let's look this up real quick. What do you think? Take a guess. What do you think the average payment or salary of an archaeologist is?
I'd say about, in U.S. dollars, I'd say like 160,000 a year. That's just a guess, though. I don't know. It could be a lot less. I guess that's how good you are, too, though. There's probably like a certain few that make way more than everyone else. You know?
This is so this is average archaeologist by state.
By state?
That doesn't even make sense. But it says Michigan's is $62,000 a year.
What are they finding in Michigan? Like a bullet or something? An
Archaeologists made a median of $66,000 in 2020. The best paid 25% made $84,000 that year. The lowest paid got $51,000.
Wow, that's not very good.
No.
I guess you gotta do it for the love of the hunt.
It says here, who is the highest paid archaeologist? It says the average pay for archaeologists is $78,000. The highest paid archaeologist made $193,000 in 2020.
That's not even that much either.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's good money, but like,
I mean, that's
for
a lot
someone
of money,
who does
like,
so much.
I guess
Like,
the
this
only
guy
reason
could change history.
Yeah.
And he's making 200,000.
I guess the only reason they would do it then is because they love it.
You gotta love. That's something that I feel like if you're into that thing, you would love that. I feel like that's probably one of the jobs, like the job you would love the most. If you like that thing, it's one of the jobs you would love the most.
I think it's really cool.
'Cause
if they got paid more, I feel like that'd be so sweet. I mean, imagine going to Egypt and
that's what I'm saying.
uncovering
If you like something like that, that's gotta be the best work. You just love your job every day.
Yeah. I mean, for me though, I feel like once I have a passive income business, that could be like a side gig, like a hobby.
Metal detecting.
Just walking around.
Yeah. I'll come up in your metal detecting in your front yard.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find like a steak.
You know what I would have loved to metal detect, which they blocked people from doing?
What?
That Midland Lake that got pushed out by the dam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I would have been out the next day with a freaking metal detector, picking up wedding rings,
You probably find like beer
watches,
cans.
phone. Well, beer cans, fine. That's 10 cents.
I don't think you could still turn them in. But yeah, like it was something I wish I would have done too. Is like we were in Gettysburg, if you know about that, Civil War and all, or Civil War, Revolutionary War, one of the two. Civil War.
Revolutionary War was against Britain. That was more.
Yeah, but like I wish I would have metal detected that. It's just so hard to find something.
I think I've seen people find stuff.
Someone already metal detected all that. You know, what am I gonna find?
You could find something. I'm sure. I mean, how much do you think somebody metal detected every square inch of that place? All you need is 1 inch to find a little ball or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a national forest in I want to say like Idaho. Is it Yellow? I think it's Yellowstone. There's a section of Yellowstone that has old Indian arrowheads. And they're saying like people are picking them up and they're telling people don't pick them up, like that's sacred, like we don't want those moved. We have those there because that's where they were left. So I think it's actually illegal
to touch them.
Not only to touch them but like to keep them.
Yeah, but yeah, that was something that I really would have wanted to do, just be able to find something like that. It's probably really exciting
to see what,
to like see, or just to like find something that no one's ever seen before. Well, obviously the person who had it last, but they had it last like 100 years ago. So like imagine just finding like something from way before.
Did you watch Yellowstone?
No.
Oh God, you got to see that show.
Yeah, you were telling me about it. I can't watch too many shows. You're trying to suggest all these shows. I don't have time.
Did I get you on Peaky Blinders?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great show. Oh, I'm still.
Well, I wanted to watch it like before you said it, and you were like, "Yeah, watch it." So I ended up.
So let's see what I got on your list. I got you on Peaky Blinders, Upload. You gotta watch Yellowstone.
Yeah.
There's the new show is I think 1883.
Yeah.
It's the precursor to Yellowstone. So John Dutton is like the main character. It's the Dutton Ranch.
Yeah.
It's the size of Delaware. Yeah, that's how big his ranch is in Montana. Wow. And so, is it Delaware or Rhode Island? I don't know. It's like 200 something acres. Actually, I think it's bigger than that.
200 acres.
I think it's bigger than that.
Yeah, 200 acres that's not that big.
Yeah. So, anyways,
it's small.
So then his great grandpa that came over to when they were doing the gold rush, he stopped and claimed all that land and then was buying it from the Indians, more and more land. And that is how he got it so big. Let's see. How big is the Yellowstone Ranch? 2,500 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty big.
I mean it's okay size. Think about it. This house is probably on 2-3 acres. So like 1,500 acres is not like it's pretty big, but it's not huge.
This house you said is on 2-3 acres?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is about 2.5.
Yeah. So 2,500.
It actually says here that one was wrong. It says right here that Rainwater says in the show that the ranch is the size of Rhode Island, which suggests that the family's ranch is more than 776,000 acres.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. That I was going to say 2,500 acres still doesn't seem like that much. But 776,000 acres is a lot.
Yeah.
So that's a really good show, though. I would highly suggest watching.
I'll think about it.
Yeah. But then I haven't seen the new one, the new show. It's supposed to be really good. It's by I forget who the producer of it is, but it was a really good show.
Yeah.
So
when we were talking about the telescope, just like new technology,
mm-hmm.
it reminded me of I read earlier Ford is coming out with new batteries for their cars.
Okay.
Like, we always use lithium-ion batteries,
mm-hmm.
and I think Tesla uses 90% of the batteries they use are lithium-ion, and they're starting to switch to these new batteries too. And they're like something in they're iron. They have iron in them and like phosphate.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like way cheaper to produce than lithium-ion batteries, because obviously iron is so common in the world. And so they're supposed to be a lot cheaper. They're supposed to last 2 to 4 times longer, like of use. They're supposed to not be affected by like draining it and recharging it.
Okay.
And the only problem with them is they have half the storage capability. So you can't go as far, but they're supposed to be a lot cheaper.
So if they doubled the size.
Yeah, but that's doubling the weight.
Yeah, but in a Ford Lightning,
mm-hmm.
you don't care about weight as much as you care about capacity.
But then you're moving more weight, and I feel like it cancel out each other.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says Ford releases new battery capacity plan, raw materials details to scale
EVs, electric vehicles.
On track to ramp to 600K run rate by 23 and 2 million plus by 26.
Go down. Does it talk about the new battery they're producing? They're talking about like a new the plan to do it. I don't really see anything about the new battery. Oh, nickel, cobalt, and manganese chemistry. Lithium. Okay, it's lithium ion phosphate, so an LFP battery. So this is the LFP. It's supposed to be this new type of battery, and apparently Tesla's using it in some of theirs. I think in like the Model 3 base model.
Yeah.
And they just say it's going to be all around so much easier to make than lithium ion, and it's not as harmful to the environment. Oh, and another thing I also read about it was, a lithium ion battery, when you get in a crash, and they catch on fire, these batteries you could throw off a cliff.
And
you could drive them over with a car. You can cut them in half, and they won't catch on fire, won't explode or anything. So the safety, I guess, is way better. That's where I could see an advantage. You're losing half your distance, but if you crash, you don't turn into a barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was thinking though. So this is a nuclear waste battery. So apparently would be, how that they were saying that the number one reason they don't want to have nuclear plants is because of the waste.
Yeah.
Well, it says here that a California-based company figured out a way to take the nuclear waste and convert it into a battery. So all that extra waste we would have from these nuclear plants, they would be put into a battery. So then that would take a lot of like the raw materials and stuff like that, because the stuff that it's using to power it is waste that apparently doesn't have high enough radioactive levels. And this is just to show you what it looks like. I watched a video on it that they were saying that it doesn't have high enough levels of radiation to harm. There isn't more radiation in it than like what we already experience in our daily lives.
Yeah.
So.
It needs a diamond case.
I'm sure it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were trying to figure out a way to figure it out, like how to get it to work, because imagine if we could use a nuclear waste to a productive way. That way we would have nuclear plants all throughout the country powering the entire grid. rather than wind and solar and all that shit that don't barely work.
Yeah, we talked about nuclear power in a
Yeah, so
previous
imagine
podcast.
if we could use the waste for something other than that, and then that could power our. The problem, like, this is my problem. Why would we not go for the best option, right? Like, why focus on? I know we talked about this in the last podcast, but I'm gonna bring this up only because of this. If we know that a nuclear power plant can be used for such beneficial stuff, and like for one nuclear power plant, the amount that it would be able to power versus like the equivalent in wind and solar, like, and then we can also figure out a way to use the waste to power cars.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we do that?
I feel like they still don't. They're worried about the environment.
But this is the cleanest way
and like you said,
possible.
remember you talked about how the plants haven't been updated in like
40 years.
40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're all old. Like, I don't know.
The technology that they have for the nuclear power plants is 40 years old. For Europe, I think by this winter, because of the fact that they just turned off their nuclear plants, if I'm correct, or they turned off their oil, Russia is now going to be supplying the Europeans power throughout the winter.
Yeah.
And the problem is that if it's a harsh winter, they only are getting 40% of what they got the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to power all of Europe. And so what people are afraid of is because of what's happening with Ukraine is that Russia's going to just be like, yep, sorry, this is all you get. And then people are going to starve and freeze and die.
Yeah, who knows? Which
would be crazy because they are doing the same thing the United States is doing. They're moving too fast into something that does not work. As good as it needs to be. I don't want to say it doesn't work. I'm sure wind and solar power works. I'm saying it doesn't work to the capacity that it's needed. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. Yeah. So, anyways, I wanted to end it by saying we apologize for not getting any content out last week. If you are somebody who listens to us, we were both extremely busy. I went up north and you were working. Yeah. So we did not get any content out last week. We do plan on going now forward. We are switching off the Tuesday-Thursday schedule. We realized that we don't have a big enough gap between the 2 days to film and edit. So what we are now switching to is a Wednesday-Saturday schedule, which we do have a whole schedule planned out for the meeting or for our podcast. Yeah. And so now that we have the calendar all booked up for us, we are going to do that. I will be going on vacation in September, but that doesn't matter. I start school August 17th. You start
August 30th.
So we will be going back to school, which means because Josh moves down to Detroit, we will not be able to do as many in person as we do now. So we're going to have to try to figure out Zoom. Mm-hmm. Other than that,
I know I come home every weekend.
Yeah, and so maybe we can work on filming, the 2 episodes on the weekend or something.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, you get 1 episode filmed each day. But hopefully they like the Saturday release. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I know that I listen to podcasts as soon as it releases.
I know. I like to listen to them on my way to work. Mm-hmm. So I like them during the weekdays. So, just turn it on I drive.
But if you have one posted on Saturday, you can listen to it on Monday when you go to work. And then Wednesday, you can listen to it Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Yeah. So, we do have that. And the other thing, too, is if anybody does watch this video and comments, we would really appreciate if you'd like to see any other content. We thought of a couple other ideas playing on the words of the 2 morons and a mic. We were thinking of 2 morons and a fishing rod, or 2 morons and a rod, mm-hmm. 2 morons gaming, mm-hmm. and a couple other videos that we were thinking of. But anyways, thank you very much for listening to us. I think this was a great episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.